Well, we are back here to the shop. In the last video, we were working on this project. Then we ended up going over to Cass to pick up some equipment, get it back here. And we had a little bit of welding left to do up in the grain tank. And Sarah is just about done working on getting these welds done, and she's just got a couple more tacks to do. She has the seams welded together, front and rear, and she was just gonna put a couple more tacks in there, and then that should be it for the grain tank. We do have a little bit of green paint that we could probably splash on to it, but for the most part we could just leave that primer alone, and it'll be better than the bottom of the grain bin having no paint on it. Again, these are stainless steel liners that went in under the auger. And any of you guys that have new combines, you should actually put this stainless steel in right now. On the mixer wagon, that liner that we put in that mixer wagon, remember that liner that you welded in that white mixer wagon?
Yeah. That
wasn't much more thicker than this stuff. And maybe it was a little thicker, but stainless wears a lot better than mild steel. A piece of stainless like that there will wear twice as good as a piece of mild steel that's twice or 3 times the thickness of that. Yeah, so any of you guys that have got these new combines, put the stainless in now, and then when you have a combine that's nearly 20 years old like this one, or your combine gets to be 20 years old, you won't have to worry about the floor on the bin being a little too thin. That stainless liner should last 30 years compared to the regular bin that lasted about 20. So you might be wondering, what is Jared welding? Well, he is working on a manure pipe. He was working on rebuilding a couple of these, and this aluminum, and he's just welding a stiffener on that. And we're going to go ahead and open up these boxes. Actually, it'll probably be morning time. We open up these boxes to get the augers out of these crates. That panel there was the panel that went up alongside the grain bin. We had to, if you recall, we wire wheeled that, primed it, painted it. We did the same thing to that panel there, and I just actually put a little bit of green paint onto it. Now, what we have to also do is, once Sarah gets down out of this bin with this welder, we've got the leads up through this right-hand side. We have our, you can see our stainless steel liner is poking through there a little bit, and in both spots. That's because that V-shaped panel right there covers that area up. And we've got the liner in there. Now that crack through the floor came through right there on that loom holder bolt. And that crack runs from that corner all the way down through and under that bin. Then there's also a gusset right there on the bottom of the bin that is cracked. So we're going to get in there and we're going to weld that up. weld up that crack. It's just a structural crack from the just from years of using the combine here. So that's what we're gonna have to work on here after we get her welder out of the bin. We're gonna have to do a little welding right there, and I don't believe, I'm not sure. Well, I thought that was a crack that continued on above that brace right there, but it was just some corn silks. Now, yes, we did wash this combine, but we have some rinsing that it needs here, which you run into that. So we'll have to hit this again with the pressure washer once we get it done. Another thing we have to do is I'm going to replace this belt. We replaced that 4-rib belt back there in corn, replaced a couple of the other ones, and we also need to put this shiv on the shoe auger shaft. So we got to get that on there. Are you done in there?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna pull the air hose out and her welder lead, and then tomorrow we will get the augers out of that box, send them in. We've got new bearings to put on them, and so on and so forth. So we'll get this guy out of here. The air hose, and then we've got to cut this zip tie. Maybe we can just, oh, we can't break it. Wow, that's a toughie. That's a toughie, Sarah. There we go. All right. So we will join up with you guys in the morning when we get back on this project here. Well, it is the next day, a little bit of a quiet day here. But what we're gonna do, instead of working on this combine right at the moment, we are going to prime this tractor. This is an 8110. It's got like, I don't know, 13 or 14,000 hours on it. I forget now. But Jared ended up rebuilding the engine in this tractor back in like, oh, it was like February or March. The cab was rotted out on it. We've got a used cab outside. We decided to pull the cab off, get a used cab for it. And he ended up replacing all of the hydraulic lines on it from the very front to the back. Then we ran out of time, got into spring work, and this has just been on the back burner ever since then. So we're going to prime it. And then tomorrow we'll paint the yellows on the wheels, let that sit a while, day or two or three, maybe even a week, cover all the yellows up, then we can shoot all of the green on it. We haven't decided what we're going to do with the cab yet. The cab doesn't have a lot of metal on it anyways. Most of it is glass, and it is in a real good shape. So that's what we're going to work on right here at the moment. We'll get this primed, and then in a couple days we can get the yellows on it, and next quiet day we get, we can shoot some green. So this is what we'll work on here right now, and then maybe a little later on we can get back on the combine. So we'll get after it here. All right, we have this all in cat yellow. What do you guys think of that? Think we should leave it cat yellow? Well, this is actually the Buff John Deere Buff Primer. It's a real nice base coat. We'll let this sit overnight, and then we'll come in and we'll shoot the yellows on the wheels, the front hubs, and then let that sit for a day or two or three, and then we can cover all this yellow up, cover the wheels up, the front tires, and then we'll shoot the green. We've got some blacks to do on it as well, but we'll cross that road when we get to it. We've got the front tires up against the forklift, so we haven't really figured out what or how we're going to do the cab yet, as far as, you know, are we going to do any painting on that or not. We might just have to do it in pieces, right, Christian?
I think so.
Yeah, these guys did a superb job of covering them tires up so that I didn't get any primer on the rubber. But yeah, so boy, this is a lot brighter yellow in the camera than it is. I mean, that's gold. Shows up yellow in the camera, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah. Alrighty. Kind of boring, but yeah. I don't know how what we're gonna do here first thing in the morning. Probably get back on the combine for a little bit. We've had little jobs that we've been doing hit and miss here, and I just haven't been filming them, so I don't want to have too much going on in one video, but oh well, all right. Well, here we are. I didn't show you guys before we started painting yellow, but we ended up painting yellow on the rims and the front hub here yesterday. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to cover up the rear wheels, the front hubs, the front wheels. We could just wheel over into the other building. We won't have to worry about getting any green overspray on that. Now we've got some items here that need to be black. Some of these items you're not going to see, and that is the sides of the radiator. We're going to have a cowl and whatever over the top of that. You're not even going to see that. So I don't know if I'm just going to leave the paint off of that, and then we could just kind of cover up this green area here and spray the black on, or if we're just going to just cover it all in green. This is just a very fast paint job. It's not going to be of show quality. This is just something to freshen it up a little bit. This bracket here is supposed to be black as well. We could just cover that up and put black on that here later on. So we're going to get things covered up, and then we're going to just throw the green on it. We're not even going to shoot it. We're just going to throw it on. Just a very fast paint job. It'll look good from 65 feet away, not 50 feet away. It's not a 50-foot paint job. It's going to be a 65-foot at 65 mile an hour paint job. It'll look good when we are standing that far away from it. So today is New Year's Day. It'll be a good time to get this on there today. The guys are going to be, we've got a limited staff here today, and we won't have to worry about keeping the guys out of the shop because we've got paint fumes going on. So the combine is taking a back seat here to the painting project. This project has been in the shop too long, This tractor, every video for the past 10 months has been, this tractor has been in the background because it has been sitting here and waiting. So we need to get it done and get it on out of here. So that's what we're working on. Kind of boring stuff, but we get the green shot on there, and then we can open up these augers, shove them into the bin. Instead of going inside the bin with a rattle can, I can go inside the bin with a paint gun and paint the top of those liners that are in there. There's a little bit of primer still in the grain bin. We might as well cover that up with some green. So let's cover up the yellow and get shooting green. Okay, so we have our yellows covered up. I rolled the wheels next door, the front tires and wheels rather. Then I've got some paint in the paint shaker, and we'll go ahead and shoot the green. This area here is supposed to be black. So what we'll do is we'll keep the green away from it. We'll get a little overspray on that. Then what we can do is come in after the fact and just put a little cover in here and maybe shoot it with a rattle can. But for the most part, this is all going to be covered up anyways. You're not going to see any of that. I ended up putting a little bit of masking tape on this fuel tank strap on this right hand side. The muffler will bolt off of this here. From here in, you're not going to see, but you are going to see this guy here and the fuel tank itself. So that's why that's all covered up. I didn't really put any primer on this rear strap. We'll just spill some paint on that. That's basically going to be covered up anyways, but we do have our wheels covered up very nicely so that we can keep the green overspray off of the yellow paint. So we'll go ahead and start shooting it. Alright, we've got the painting done next door, and Charlotte just got done changing the oil for the first time on her Blazer. So we'll walk over next door here quick and we'll show you what this looks like with the paint on it. Now we've got plastic up over the top of the transmission yet. A little bit of plastic in on the flywheel there. We'll take that stuff off here tomorrow. There was just a lot of dust and whatever on there, and I didn't want to have that falling down on the rest of the tractor. The wet paint, that is. The dust on mixing in with the wet paint. I wanted to get the yellow uncovered as quick as I could because sometimes the plastic will migrate into the paint and you can't get it. It'll end up sticking to it. So I wanted to get it uncovered as fast as I could. So we've got to get some black on this. We've got to get some black in here, down in under the fuel tank. We've got to do the axles. We've got to do on each side of the radiator. Some of this other stuff is supposed to be black. You've got the air tube hose. I think that's supposed to stay black. These lines up here are supposed to be black, but you're not going to see that stuff, and we just threw paint on it to get it on there. The air conditioner compressor, I think when they come from the factory, I don't think they have paint on them, nor does the alternator. But we've got paint on it now. So that is going to do it for this video. I don't know how soon we'll get the cab in here and on there, but we took advantage of these holiday times here to get that done. Jared and the other guys have been working on manure equipment here. They've patched a hole in the frac tank, and they are just doing a couple of things too. this small spreader, putting injector tips on, and yeah. But all right, well, that is gonna do it for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching, and we will catch you at the next one.